Hello.
First time. You guys are experts at this. You guys are
Hi.
online so much you know how to do this.
A little bit.
Once or twice, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
You,
How are
you're
you?
like, you're framed beautifully. You have a nice purple background.
Oh, thanks.
You know.
Our little nod to Friends.
Oh,
The
yeah?
purple wall, Friends. Yeah.
Got it. I thought you were talking about the picture, and I'm like, those look
Oh,
like
no.
surfboards.
Yeah.
So, hey, we've never actually formally met. Hi, I'm Brian.
Tina, nice to meet you.
I'm Bruno. Nice to meet you.
I figured that's how it was working.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Chris Harvey was here this week
Mhm.
and was teaching, and somebody asked him about chocolate that you should like try in this country, and you guys were one of them, just so you know. So,
Oh,
big props to
cool.
that.
That's nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chef Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll let him know. He's not here because he's catching up from having been here for a week, but he's making chocolate furiously and frantically.
Yeah, I know.
Sure.
I know. I saw.
Were you with us this week?
We were not. I saw, though, a lot of other people I know were in the class. Yeah. So.
Yeah. There were 85 people into the two classes. It was a lot. There was a lot going on.
Yeah. Sounds like
So,
it.
and you guys don't work with 40 people when you do your thing. You guys work with one-on-one, or two-on-one, as you like to say, right?
Yes. Yeah. We do chocolate mentorship. We take very small groups of people at a time, and we give them individual attention to help them with their specific chocolate goals. Yeah.
But let's back up. How'd you guys end up in chocolate?
You go first.
So me, when I was young, I always watched with my mom the World Chocolate Masters on TV, and all those competitions, those big showpiece, and I was always thinking, oh, one day I want to do that, and that's how I got into it, just by watching on TV.
Yeah, that's not on TV a lot in the United States. That's not like you know, network, like prime time.
Yeah, no,
Right.
in France it's very popular to put that on TV, but it's true not in America. There's not really. I haven't seen much of that in America, but in France it's very popular.
When did you move to the States?
I moved 6 years ago, I think, right? 5 years.
8 years ago.
I'm sorry, 8 years ago.
But it feels like only a moment.
Yeah.
The what?
It feels like only one moment.
Yeah, it's yes.
He spoke zero English when he first moved to America. We didn't understand each other like at all.
No, I was able to say yes, no, thank you, I don't know, and I use a lot of I don't know.
My first kitchen, I worked with a French chef, and he wouldn't promote me until I could at least go un, deux, trois. He said, you have to know 1, 2, 3, so you can count the desserts on the plate. So you know more English than I know French.
Yeah.
But why'd you come to the States, Bruno?
I just needed a change of air. You know, I've been living in Paris, close to Paris, for 21 years. I just needed some fresh air, something new. It was or Japan or Las Vegas. So I decided to go to Las Vegas.
And where did you end up in Vegas?
I ended up working in a chocolate shop in Las Vegas, and that's where I met my wife now, Tina.
Yeah.
So you didn't come for love, you just fell in love.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I didn't come for love. I come to work, and the love just fell into it. And
True story though. Like one of the fondest memories I have of Bruno when we first met is his sister had sent him chocolate from Patrick Roger for his birthday, and you know I've never had that.
Good stuff. Like it doesn't sound
I had never
the
had
stuff
that
from the drugstore.
And he offered to share that with me on his birthday, and I just thought, wow, like you're offering to share something that's, you know, you can't get anywhere here in America. I know it's like a little pricey, so I was like, maybe there's something to this guy who doesn't speak any English. Maybe there's something there. So,
where were you guys working in Vegas?
Over at Jean-Marie Boine. Yeah.
We may have heard of him.
Yeah.
Once or twice.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I came in to work for him, I came in and she left. So there was our mutual friend. She how do you say that?
Yeah, our mutual friend Julie went to school with Bruno back in France, and so she knew that when he was coming in, she's like, "Oh, I know him." And then we just all started hanging out together. And my friend Julie went back to France. I needed a new friend to hang out with, and this guy was here. So.
How's your French? You know.
My French?
Yeah.
Je comprends un peu le français. So as much as I learned prior to meeting this family, that's all I know. I know, you know, a little bit, not that great, but a little bit, yeah.
But she understands me sometimes when I talk to my family. She understands that a bit. She picks up words, you know.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of time.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
You'll work it out. So, were you doing chocolate in France before you moved to the States, Bruno?
Yes, I started in France. When you do apprenticeship, you do 2 weeks at work, 2 weeks at school, and I started with savory. After savory, I did pastry. After pastry, I did chocolate, and after chocolate, I did 2 more years of pastry, but high level on pastry. That's called DTM. That's the high level in pastry in France. And after that, I went into a palace in Courchevel, the Cheval Blanc, it's called. After I went to Monaco, to Louis XV. And after Louis XV in Monaco, I came to Las Vegas.
And his whole world changed.
And now you're not going back to France. So you're the family okay that you moved? Did you now live in America? Or
yes, they're okay. Yes, they're okay. They understood that I will not end up in France. It was, even if I was going to go back in France, I would not have gotten married. I would go back to France. I will go somewhere else. I would have tried Asia. I would have tried Japan.
Got it.
It's always a country. I don't know. I think I would have liked to try Japan if it didn't work out in America.
And funny enough, he kept me in America because when I first moved to Vegas, I told myself I'm going to be here 2 years max, and then I'm out. And my next plan was actually to try and go to France to try and work for Patrick Roger. That was in my head. That's what I wanted to do for myself. And then I met this guy, and then, yeah.
The rest is history, as they say.
Yeah.
So, how'd you end up in chocolate? Like, what is that path like? Where was home, and how'd you sort of get here?
So I'm from LA originally, and I was going to college at UCSD in San Diego. I was a pre-med background, and I just
of course,
you know, super traditional Asian family.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I was going to be the next doctor in my family, but it just wasn't clicking for me. I don't know. I didn't have a problem. I really loved school growing up, but something about when you're in college and everyone's asking, what are you going to do next? What's your future going to look like? The clock is ticking, you know. I just was freaking out. I literally was freaking out. And I was just thinking, I can't imagine myself being in med school for the next 8 years, 10 years of my life. So I switched courses and I changed art. And I tried that for a little bit. And I was working in an art museum. I posted about this recently, but I was working in an art museum, a contemporary art museum, and they kept all the first level workers in the basement. So we were next to the ocean, beautiful sunshine, beautiful ocean. But we couldn't see it, and we were in this dark basement doing computer work. And I was just thinking how long is it going to be before I get upstairs and get to work with art and artists? I was drawn to art. And so I just realized I really miss I need to create with something. And true story, I literally took 3 months, 3 months hiatus. I took all my friends and family, don't talk to me for 3 months. I need to figure stuff out. That's freaking out about college graduation. And I just said to myself, Tina, what makes you happy? You know, there's people out there in the world who are actually happy doing what they love. It must be possible. It has to be possible. How crazy is that? What makes you happy? And the answer was chocolate. And so when I heard that, I was like, okay, pursue that, I guess. And it just so happened the only career fair I ever went to at my college, the lead speaker was Michael Antonorsi, who graduated bioengineering, switch chocolatier. And so when I heard that, I was like, you can do that? That's a job? What the heck?
That's a job.
And then that led me to taking a tour of his factory. That led me to getting his culinary school. That led me to just pursuing chocolate after that.
You know, I do a little bit of research for these shows.
Mm-hmm.
just a scooch. And I read something you posted recently about fear,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think, you know, you talked a little bit about, look, Chris is commenting about great chocolate made by these two. So he's,
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Chef.
thanks for joining us, Chris. Like, you didn't see enough of me the last 3 days. He was done with me by the time he got to the airport yesterday. But
Oh, no.
and I think Chris was talking about that this week too, and so it's sort of resonating with me about fear. And Chris said, really, that's what keeps people from being better,
Yes.
right? And like, so med school is a decision, and you sort of alluded to the fact that, like, it sounds like you come from a long line of doctors, and I could be wrong. I could be inferring that. I didn't do that much research.
Semi.
But
my dad was a doctor. My mom was a nurse. So it's like.
Got it. Yeah.
It.
So
Yeah.
hopefully, you know, yay, she'll be a doctor too, right?
Mm.
Like, so there's fear in saying, okay, I'm going to back away from that path because I've made that decision. And then there's fear about, like, going in a totally different direction.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's fear about, like, what you guys have become in this, your own business and, like, doing stuff. And I think what I've been impressed with, because I've been doing this program for about 2 years now, or a year and a half, something like that, is people setting aside their fear and, like, I'll use a Vegas expression because you guys have been in Vegas, going all in. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in, like, I may lose the hand, but not for lack of trying, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You know, for me, the biggest thing about the whole fear thing, because like I said, when I first, the question of, like, what makes you happy, and it was chocolate, was so simple to me. And when I first started, like, researching it, learning about it, it brought me so much joy. So to me, I was like, well, something that makes me this happy can't be bad, even as difficult or unknown or as scary as the other side might be. The thing that scared me, I didn't want to go back on, because I was, like, really, like, miserable in college studying pre-med, was if I went into medicine or went into something that didn't, like, fill me up inside, and I looked back thinking, man, I spent all those years doing what for a higher paycheck? Like, you know, like, I just didn't, I didn't feel fulfilled inside. So anytime there's a fear, like, I moved to New York for my first job for Chef Jacques. I didn't have a job. I literally just kind of, like, flew and moved and, like, kind of showed up, and that's how I got my job. I was super scared. You know, I never moved away from my family. I never went to the East Coast, really, and I was crying on the airplane, like, leaving my family, bawling my eyes out. And my parents were kind of thinking, like, you're nuts, because, like, you're going there, but you don't have a job. Like, what are you doing? And I was arguing back, if I don't go there, I might never have a job, so let me try. And if I don't get anything done in 6 months, I'll come back home. Like, that's how my mentality was. So I was just thinking, you can't know what's on the other side unless you try. And at least if you try, at least you tried, right? So that's my mentality. But.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. I think fear obviously holds us back from things. Like, fear, okay, so fear keeps us safe.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like there's some places that fear is good. You know,
yeah, you're comfortable. You're comfortable.
But also, like, the barking dog that's growling, I probably don't want to go in that yard.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like, so there's some good stuff about fear.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but you're right. Fear is that of the unknown, of failure, of whatever, is where we butt into that limit. Like, so. Bruno, I mean, how scary was it moving to Vegas, not knowing English, you know, knowing that you were a good chocolate person, but, like, you were going to have to work with Jean-Marie Alban, which should have scared you at least a little. I
was scared a lot, but I was excited to see new things.
He doesn't get scared easy.
I was scared, but I was very happy to live. I'm not saying France is bad, but I was happy to leave France to discover something new.
You weren't crying on the airplane.
Me?
Yeah, you.
No. I was happy. Yeah, when I landed, I had to stop. I didn't land directly in Vegas. I landed in Miami. I'm like, ooh, Miami, huh? Miami, let's see. I was in the airplane looking. I was happy, you know. After I came to Vegas, I'm like, it's beautiful. I love it. But I was very scared, yes.
Oh, your first time working? Oh, so in France, this is a funny story. I think that kind of semi-relates. So Bruno, when you first moved, you were on some hotel in the Strip, right?
Yes.
He didn't understand maps. He didn't understand, like in France, everything's kind of like his school was like a 5-minute walk, like a district like a 5-minute walk, whatever. He had no concept of
The distance.
space. So his hotel was, I don't know, a couple miles, maybe 3 miles or something from the shop.
It was 19 miles, and for me, 19
19.
miles. When I switched 19 miles into my head, I was like, I think 19 miles it's half in kilometer, but no, actually it's a double. But
Yeah.
but
40
it's
it's
not
40
like
kilometers. 40.
yeah,
40.
yeah. But for me it was half. So for me it was like only 8.5, 9 kilometer. I'm like, it's fine. I'm really good at. I run a lot, so I'm gonna run. And it was in September when beginning of September, like September 5, I think. And it was super hot in Vegas. The sun was super strong. I start running, and you run, and you're like, I'm in front of the same hotel, you know? I'm like, what is that? On the map, I'm like, I don't even see the next street. I don't understand that. It has to be wrong, this map, you know? I've been running for 5 minutes the street. I didn't even see this street. How is that possible? I'm like, and after half an hour of running under the sun of Las Vegas, you know, I'm like, I quit. I'm done. I was sweating everywhere. I'm like, I take a taxi. I'm sick of it already.
First day on the job.
And the guy I saw he was driving.
Chef, I'm gonna be late.
Yeah.
Chef, I'm sorry. I gotta go home and shower.
Yeah.
I didn't have any phone to call anyone. I didn't have any phone, so I just take a taxi and I see the guy drive for 15, 20 more minutes. I'm like, impossible to do that just by running, you know.
Did you get a bicycle? And then, you know.
He got a scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a scooter. And,
I got a scooter. And
Very French.
Yes.
Little baguette in the basket.
No.
A puppy.
No. But, you know, scooter, even on scooter, you don't even know because I bought a scooter and the scooter was under the sun. I could not even touch the handles. I could not even sit. I could not brake. It was too hot. You know, I had to put shirts and stuff onto the scooter because I could not even sit on it. It was too hot. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, when you don't know, that's what happens, you know, but, you know.
Yeah. The early years for Bruno in America were a little rough.
The first year the first 2 years was very difficult because of the language. You don't know anything. It was very hard. Most of it, the language. There's a moment I was sick of hearing people talk English, you know. It was very difficult to listening to English and not be able to understand. It was very difficult. After, by meeting Tina, by working at the Win, and be surrounded by English people, you know, Americans. You don't have the choice. I start to learn, to understand a little bit more. And one day I was watching Friends, and I was just laughing at the jokes, and it was in English. You know, I was just laughing at the jokes, and my wife, she was looking at me, and she was laughing. I'm like,
that's when I knew.
What?
I was like, he gets it. If you can laugh at Friends, and like he used to watch it and like no reaction. I'm like, what is wrong with you? But when he started laughing, I'm like, he understands. He is now more.
She was laughing at me. Why you looking at me and you're laughing? Well, what's funny, you know? I'm saying, you understand what's happening. Look, you understand the jokes. I'm like, it's true.
Yeah.
I'd argue that Friends isn't all that funny. So, you know. So somebody just used the question. You moved to the States in like 2016, 2014?
2013.
Yeah, 2013. Okay. The first 2 years difficult. After it got easier.
Got it. So you both are working in Vegas. Somehow, Tina, you were working with Jacques. You ended up working for Jean-Marie, and you guys. He shared a beautiful box of chocolate.
Yes.
And the rest is history, as they say.
Pretty much.
So somewhere in there, you started dating. You fell in love. You got married. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Where was it that you guys made a decision about opening your own chocolate business and moving to LA and all that? How'd that come about?
Well, sometime after.
Yeah. So
Thanks, Bruno.
Yeah.
Thanks. Later. We opened a chocolate business. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. So when we had a baby, I always wanted to be closer to home. So I'm originally from LA. So when our little girl turned 1, we moved from Vegas to LA. So we're closer to my parents. So we have some help. And then when
good decision, by the way. I did not do that, and it took a very long. Being alone in a town with
it's hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
I have a ton of respect for like single parents that do it all on their own because like the two of us were like flummoxing around without help.
Yeah, it's hard. And we, you know, I personally, I mean, I feel like I have a huge love for California, and I feel like I never really appreciated California as much until I moved away from it. So I've lived in New York, lived in Vegas. And so I just always wanted to be home and raise my daughter like where I grew up. So when I got pregnant, I kind of slowed down on chocolate. I focused on just being with my daughter and everything like that. So when we got to LA, I told Bruno, like, you know, I had always dreamed to open up. That was the plan, like, since way back, since culinary school, when I started like 13 years ago. I was like, that was always a dream, was to open up my own shop, or open up my own business rather, in LA. So at the time, I had a side hustle called The Chocolate Lady that I had the entire time that I was doing chocolate for anyone else. I just had it on the side. And I was telling Bruno, like, I think I want to rebrand. You know, I think, like, it's been, like, The Chocolate Lady was, like, a school project that I had when I was in culinary school. And I felt like it needed to change. I needed to come back and do something else. So I told him, like, what do you think of Codinha Chocolate? And, you know, I'm a Codinha too now. Like, it's a family name or whatever. It rolls off the tongue really nice. We started just talking about it. It kind of started solo, and then COVID happens, and Bruno lost his job, unfortunately. And so he jumped on, and that's just kind of what it is. It's just a business that we started. We had intended to start before COVID. COVID took over, and now it became a duo. So,
who does what? Or you both do everything?
No.
A little bit. So
she does all the computer work, all the Instagram, all the content, everything on computer. She did everything.
Yeah.
She did everything on computer.
Like, I did the website. I do like all the marketing, all the admin type stuff. It's me.
All of it.
Me,
I was more into finding the product, finding the best product for the cheapest price, finding molds, recipes, creating recipes, production. When there is a special project, like we had a baby shower, I created a lot of the product and the display for the baby shower. And of course, I always ask her, "How do you like that? Do you like it?" You know, I always ask for opinion. You know, when there's special project, it's more me who do the production and visualize. After, I always ask Tina for details, small details.
Yeah, he's very good at like putting things, like if someone tells us, for instance, like we're working on these wedding amenities right now, and it's actually for my brother, but they wanted, if you are familiar with what a forever flower is, it's like those flowers that come, okay. So forever flowers are like these fancy flowers that come and they like last forever, or they last a year minimum or whatever.
So is that in a bucket?
Yeah, they come in like a white bucket type fancy thingy, and then
I'm Googling it.
Okay, yeah. So my brother always gave his fiance forever flowers. So for their wedding, they wanted to give all of their guests a mini forever flower. So I was like, all right, that's cool. There's no mold like that exists. So we're going to have to create it from scratch. And Bruno's the expert on like taking something and just creating it out of nothing. And then now we're doing it like mass production.
Now we made 250.
And we're transporting it from LA to Vegas next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what we're doing. Tina, she's more computer. She does computer and production. And me, I'm more into recipes, production, and creating when there's a new project.
Yeah. And then, what's your space? Is it just the two of you? What's your space like? How do you create new business? All that. That's a lot of questions all at once.
Yeah. So we're home based. So our space is just like literally, our house is more a lab than it is a home.
There's shelving everywhere, even in the bedroom. There's shelving for the chocolate.
Yeah, we have like it looks more like a lab than it does a house.
Like industrial shelvings, huh?
Emphasize on that. Yeah, so we're just making it work out of our tiny space for now. In the future, we hope to have a commercial space. In terms of getting new business, it's been mostly through social media and friends and family. So whenever I was doing the chocolate lady, I did the chocolate lady for like 10 years. Like no matter where I worked, I'd come back to LA and I would do these pop-ups just like word of mouth. So slowly over the years, I was building up the clientele in LA. So when I told Bruno, like, hey, like Codinha Chocolate, we could make it work in LA, I really think. Like, it's just, I don't know. I always feel like certain cities also give you certain like vibes. I don't know if that sounds like woo-woo, but I believe it. So
we just spent 10 minutes talking about fear. Like you can like, you know, we're totally, you know, in a new territory here. So we're good.
So we've just been making it work, and it's been through social media. All of our mentees like are like worldwide and everything. It's just been creating connections with people through Instagram and stuff like that, basically.
So how did that start? Because I mean, I think, you know, obviously our industry has grown a lot in the last, let's just say 10 years, right? Like if we think about, what's that, 2012. Yeah, I mean, I think the chocolate industry has changed.
For sure.
Probably the last 20, but the last 10 to 5 has been significant, like this shooting off point. You know, and lots of people are coming into the industry that maybe it wasn't their original path. Yeah. Is that a nice way of putting it? Like, so how have you been able to sort of like, how did it start that you could like assist people and you know, gain that trust and gain that ability?
Oh, to do the whole like mentorship type thing?
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I mean, I think that, like, you know, there are a lot of people that have a lot of skills and a lot of knowledge, and like, and there are a lot of people that want that knowledge, right?
Right.
But how do you kind of like connect those dots?
So it really, honestly, so for me personally, for the longest time, when I was doing chocolate, like that was always like the passion. I always wanted to share with other people. My goal was like, if I can make other people happy through doing what I love, that's amazing. That's great. And then as I was going through my journey, there was a point where I had kind of like imposter syndrome, and I was wondering like, is this going to work out? You know, all these types of like fears, like, and everything, like all these types of thoughts or whatever. And then getting through the other side of that. And I realized like, you know, after getting through the other side of that, I was telling Bruno, like, there's a lot of people, like, anyone who like adds us on Instagram, I make a conversation with them, for instance. And I just want to like know a little bit about them. I send them like a little like, thanks for following us. Like I look at their profile, I find a little something, and I talk to them. And I realized that there's a lot of people who have similar fears or have similar feelings that we had when we were first starting off. And so that's just kind of how we've built the connection and the trust, because we're open to sharing what we've gone through, and people see that. And then anyone who wants to be a mentee, we take an hour of our time and we talk with them to find out more about them, and they get to know us, and that kind of builds the connection more, and we see if we're a really good fit for each other, and then it goes from there. So
yeah, I think there are people that are wired that way, right? I think, you know, I love giving away knowledge. You know what I mean? It's and fortunately I get paid for it, right? Like my job is to give stuff away that, as far as I'm concerned, it's for free. Yeah. Right? Like somebody's paying me. Like my check clears every week, so it's not really for free. But like I don't have to worry about billable hours like you guys probably do. I'm supposed to, but I don't.
And me in France, you know, there's a lot of very good chocolatier, good pastry chef and everything, you know, but no one really wants to share, you know, with people who they don't know, you know. And with all the knowledge I have and that Tina has too, when we started this chocolate mentorship, you know, we wanted to teach people the techniques that people don't show, you know, the small technique that the true chocolatiers, the big companies, they don't show. We want to show the true process, the true, how to say that, you know,
the tips,
all the tips
that everyone wants to see.
Exactly, that people want to see what kind of techniques you can do for spending not as much money, and techniques that go faster than doing this technique. I don't know, we just want to show people that you can do something very pretty, but it can be fast for mass production, you know, and things like that, you know.
Right, and I think that's the hard part too, right? So part of the growth of our industry has been Instagram. Like, let's get down to brass tacks. Like, there's some great stuff about Instagram, but I think that the challenge about Instagram and about social media is that it's a 4x4 square.
Exactly.
Right? It's not how did you do it for the most part. I mean, I guess Instagram solved that problem with Reels now, but it's not how'd you get there and then what did you do with it afterwards, right? It's this one little moment in time. And I mean, I tell people, where is it? Hold on. So my phone, I don't know if we can see it.
Mm-mm.
Hold on, I'm going to. Okay, so that's right. Okay, so that piece is my screen and was something we did around here, right? It was a project that I spent a day and a half on that piece, right? That's reasonable, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's a photo shoot. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What do I care?
Right.
But I'll tell you what, that dehydrated strawberry on top of that thing went on 5 seconds before we took the picture. They snapped the picture and we used it.
Right.
I got some news for you. That dehydrated strawberry in your case is going to last about 7 minutes. Your forever flowers are going to last longer than my strawberry.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think that's the hard part about Instagram, right? Like, we see these wonderful, beautiful things that might not be available in production, right? Because if you had to produce 10,000 of them, no way, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the trick about Instagram. There's a lot of beautiful things, you know, but can you really make it?
Yeah.
Can you, even if you have a pastry shop and you have 5 people working behind, even with 5 people, can you produce this product every single day and consistent, you know, be consistent with this product? That's very difficult. Huh? I know some people in the hotels in Paris who are maybe the best pastry chef in the world. They have a brigade behind, you know, of 10, 15, 20 people just to come out with all of those products to be as nice each day, you know. And they don't have 20 of those products. They have like maybe 5 of each, you know. But
right, and then, look, here's the reality of it. If that piece, I don't know, if you're going to pay $12 for it, I'll make them for you.
Yeah.
Right, but that's, even in LA, that piece isn't $12. Even in New York, that piece is $3. Right, let alone Lincoln, Nebraska. Right, I picked a town that I've never been to. I'm just making it up. Yeah. And I think that's the hard part about, like what you just said. There's what are those techniques rather than tricks? Tricks makes it sound like it's a scam to me.
Yeah,
what is that technique that will help you? Like, I think, again, I keep talking about Chris Harvey being here, but Chris's point blank about, if it's on Instagram, it's in my shop. Mm-hmm. It's the same product that we make 10,000 of, because showing you something that I can only make 1 of is worthless.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's for art's sake or something.
And that's what we do as well. Every product that we show, we make a lot of it for our own production. We don't show something that it's impossible to make in our own production. Right. Unless if it's a buffet, unless it's for fun, or it's a buffet, or it's a buffet and there's something specific.
Right, and I think there's a balance there too, right? Like, we all have that thing. I have a pastry background, right? I worked for the Ritz-Carlton company and some other places, and you know, where we were getting premium dollars for things, right? So a cookie 15 years ago was $4. Or 20 years ago, right? That cookie is now probably $8.
Yeah.
It's a chocolate chip cookie, everybody.
Yes.
It's a chocolate chip cookie. Yeah. The recipe was pretty much the recipe on the back of the Toll House bag, right? I'll tell you the pumpkin pie story some other time. But that $8 cookie or that $4 cookie allowed us to do things that should have been more expensive.
Yeah.
Right? Because we sold a lot of those $4 cookies. And I think chocolate's the same way. And I think we can have those things that are special, that take a long time, but we have to make things that we can make a lot of quickly.
Yeah.
or we don't make any money.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to have a balance for sure. We definitely have that within our shop. We know that there's, funny enough, I know everyone always gets drawn to like the colorful, pretty bonbons and everything. For us, actually, that's not our best seller in our business. For us, it's more like the truffles or like our rochers or our OMG bar. Like people, I don't know, you definitely have to have a balance. And when we were designing Codinha Chocolate, we definitely thought about that, having different products and different price points, and also looking at each product and saying, hey, what's the profit margin on this? How much labor goes into this? You know, realistically, how long is this going to last us? Like, because you have to think about these things. That's part of what we talk about in our mentorship. I think people get so strung up on the visuals and the glam that you see on Instagram of this, you know, idealized chocolatier life. But the reality of it is, if you're not producing numbers, if you're not understanding those numbers yourself, like how the heck are you in business?
A lot
You
of
know,
people
you have
do.
to think of it like analytically.
A lot of people
Right.
do beautiful things, but is it actually good? You know, does it taste good? That's something else,
Yeah,
you know.
that too, yeah.
Because it can be
Right.
beautiful, but you know.
Right, and I think that's the challenge. I mean, look, I walk this fine line because, again, I work for free, but I don't work for free, and I need our customers, right? But I think there are things along the way that I've tasted that I'm like, meh, right? That are beautiful, right? And then there are things along the way that are some of the best things I've ever tasted that don't look all that great,
Yeah.
right? And Instagram has kind of pushed that again back in that what we're talking about. You know, you gain customers on Instagram. Somebody can't taste something on Instagram, therefore it's got to look great. Where does it go, right? I mean, when I started in pastry, the only colors were imported from France. They were by PCB. You know, this is like 2001, right? They technically weren't legal in the U.S., so somebody brought them in their bag, and people saw color, right? And people saw color in chocolate, and they're like, "What the f is that?" Right? I'm getting old apparently. Like apparently I've reached that age where I'm old. But now, if you walk into a chocolate shop and they don't have color, it's kind of like they don't have any color.
That's boring. It looks
Right.
boring for some people.
You know, and I think there's a perception from the new chocolatier who looks at the traditional American confection and goes, "What's up with that?" And then that traditional American chocolatier or confectioner looks at the chocolatier and goes, "What do they need all that color for? Why does their product cost $100 a pound?"
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and I think what's hard is that
To find the balance.
right. And like, I'll tell you, some of the best caramel, whatever you want to call it. Is it caramel or caramel, Bruno?
For me, it would be more caramel.
Yeah. I say caramel.
Caramel.
American, I call them caramels. But some of the best caramels in this country are still some of those 100-year-old confection business, right? Where that recipe's been passed down, third generation now, right? And that product will kick the ass of some of this new stuff that's being created.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just from the dining, from the eating experience, right? You know, like I think what was cool is Chris taught this whole class about caramel this week, and his caramel's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've tried
Too.
it
Yeah,
a
it is
couple
really
weeks
good.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
like his
actually
salted butter caramels.
We actually visited his shop a couple weeks ago. I mean, his
The
lab.
Yeah.
We visited the lab a couple weeks ago. It was nice. Nice setup, nice machines, and you know, he made us try some product, and it was good.
Yeah.
And the caramel, actually, we tried the caramel. It was very good.
Right. And I think that's the hard part, right? Like you've got to do enough to entice people to come to you, but they're not going to come back if it doesn't taste good.
Yeah,
Of
for
course.
sure.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. And I think part of it too, like to go further, because with Instagram and everything, I wouldn't say the market is saturated. I think that's something that I hear people are like, oh, but like there's so many chocolatiers out there now. Like how are you, like it's not that. You just have to first of all show up and like produce product, and then when people do buy from you, I always emphasize for the business, like we take care of our customers really well. I always post like, hey, chocolate friends, because I literally consider people like our customers, like they've grown into our friends, and building that customer base on great customer service is what sets us apart, I think, and helps spread the word about our little business. So.
Right, and that's a lesson for more than just chocolate, right? I mean, I think, even us here at Tomric, I think part of our growth is that, we're not some nondescript company somewhere else, right? Like we know our customers, hopefully, or an awful lot of them, not all of them. I don't want to say we know all 3,500 of them on a first name basis all the time, but I mean, we know a lot of them, and, they've become friends, like you said. Like, some of my best friends, not just in the industry, but in life, are people that I've met being here for a long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think, and then you develop your own network, right? Like you have your own network of customers and then clients and stuff, I'm sure too.
Right.
So if someone wants to find you, how do they find you? And how do they engage you in your services?
So first place I would say is Instagram at Codinha Chocolate. If you're watching here, like right there. And then right there in the link in our bio goes to all of the different things that we do. So it goes to our shop, it goes to the podcast, it goes to our mentorship, it goes to our courses, or just send us an email or a DM. Like I literally will converse with everyone, anyone who follows, I converse with them. Anyone who sends me a DM, I do talk to you back. I actually had people, like, whenever I post on stories, if someone's participating in the polls, I reach out to them and I, like, just to converse and, like, say, hey, thank you for your input or whatever it is.
We're nice people.
Yeah, and some people are like, whoa, you actually reached out to me? Like, what the heck? And I'm like, yeah, you answered to, like, a question I had. I appreciate it, And then it just builds that way. I mean, I think with Instagram and social media, it's so easy to put up a front, like, you're this and that, whatever. But to actually connect, like take the time to actually connect with people who get you or want to connect with you goes a long way. And I don't think many people do that. And if they did, then I think that they would see significant changes in themselves and potentially their businesses. So that's my thought.
Yeah, it's tough though, too. Oh yeah, I was going to say, that's what I was going to say. I mean, that whole process is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is time, right?
Yeah, it is time. Yeah.
And bandwidth, right? So like that's an expression we use around here a lot. Like how much bandwidth do you have to, take care of all that stuff? I mean, I think the hard part too is that, again, people come to me for information and I don't have to worry about the billable hours. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about if I'm answering a question today. I mean, other than I've got a lot to do, but how do you guys make time for that? Like, how do you, because ultimately the goal, let's be honest, is revenue.
Yes.
Right. The goal is that you're not doing this.
Of course, you're not doing it for nothing. There's intention. Yes, of course.
Right. You're nice people, Bruno. Don't get me wrong. Like you're a good guy. French, which kind of causes me a little bit of like not that nice, but sorry.
It's fine.
But old jokes die hard about the French. But ultimately there has to be a conversion, right? Yes. There has to be a conversion from like, I'm going to answer your question for free to, hey, you know what? We can you can engage us to help solve whatever that problem is.
Yes.
Right. So how do you make that much time?
So for the time thing, I literally put it in my schedule. I'm a very like type A. I have a list of to do things and I just block.
Well, you were going to be a doctor. So
yeah. I just block it into my schedule. Like every morning I'll set aside and I'll say, okay, I'm working on doing this many conversations with this many people. I take notes on everyone who's conversed with me that I think, is like a warm lead or whatever. And then I just follow up on that and I track them through, like we have a customer sales management system, but I kind of did on my computer. And I keep track of everyone who I think is a potential mentee, potential customer, potential whatever. And I just gradually build a relationship and I make time for it every morning. I think the thing is like everyone always says like, but I have so many things to do. I don't have time. Bruno and I are the busiest we've ever been outside of like working for someone else. And we still have like normal lives and everything. I think that if it's very important to you, like I said to Bruno when I told him about Codinha Chocolate, I'm like, I am not going back to work for someone else again. Like that's done. I'm done with that. So I have no choice basically. So therefore I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make Codinha Chocolate work. Because that was always a dream. And if that means I wake up sometimes at 4 a.m., then I wake up at 4 a.m. I don't know. I think if it's important to you, you make the time, and that's just it. So
I always try to take out some of her work and I try to do it so she can have more time on the computer.
Yeah, we just kind of like balance. We can sense, you know, each other. So.
All right, what's your favorite thing you're making right now? We'll ask some chocolate questions.
For me, I love our rocher. The white chocolate rocher and the milk chocolate rocher are the bomb. I use chocolate from Switzerland, the milk chocolate from Switzerland, and milk, white, and dark chocolate, everything from Switzerland, and they are the bomb, you know. And we use hazelnut paste, and the hazelnut we use hazelnut, the Piedmont hazelnut from Italia.
Right.
So it's a product that costs us some money, but it's the best product you can find in the world, you know, in the world. Because look,
at least he's confident, Tina.
at
least he's not bashful, and he's not like hiding behind like modesty.
No, but you know, look,
Yeah.
when you buy
That is Bruno.
when you buy a very good product, I buy the milk chocolate from Switzerland. It was said it was the best chocolate in the world because of the milk that they put in, because of the cow in Switzerland. They're very pure.
Hey, I used to work for a Swiss chocolate company, so you got my vote. You don't have to convince me about Swiss.
So I use
Swiss grass, Swiss cows, better milk, better milk chocolate.
Exactly.
There you go.
So you see, I use white chocolate and milk chocolate from Switzerland, who are maybe one of the best chocolate there is on the planet. And I use the hazelnut, maybe one of the hazelnut, the best on the planet, the one from Piedmont.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to do a very good product. You have to be able to do a good product when you buy this kind of product, you know.
Yeah.
And so for me, the Rocher are from the best one for me, you know.
Tina, what's your favorite product you're making right now?
Right now, I would say I really love the black sesame praline that we've been making. We made them into like little black cats for Halloween. I like it. That's my go-to right now.
All right. I'm going to ask Bruno this question because I'm sure everything you make is perfect. Bruno, what's the one that you were like, everybody's going to love this product, and like Tina tasted it and she's like, Bruno, no.
Can you repeat? I'm sorry.
What's the product that you made and you say, oh, bah, this is so good, but I tried it and I'm like, eh. Not very many. I don't think.
There's got to be one. One went right in the bin.
The only
You can
it should be more the opposite. One she likes and me I'm not into it. It's she does a bonbon. It's a dulce de leche with coffee ganache.
But you don't like coffee.
Because I don't like coffee. That's not my go-to, you know.
Yeah.
But really,
are you not
that's
from
the only
France? Were you adopted? Are you not from France?
He's
Were you adopted or like?
blood, by the way.
I'm technically Portuguese, but
Okay, that's okay. Cool, that makes sense. That's fine.
I've never drink coffee in my life. I don't like coffee. To work, I don't need coffee. I don't like coffee. So anything with coffee for me, I can try and say, oh, it's nice or it's not nice, but I'm never going to go to a chocolate bonbon with a coffee flavor in it.
Got it.
But
okay.
She does.
Just so you know, mine was durian.
Yours what?
Durian. I'm not a fan of that either, and I'm Filipino.
No, I tried it.
Yeah.
And, okay, so back to your Swiss chocolate thing. I used to work with Anil Rohira, who's now the corporate pastry chef for Felklin.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you may have heard of Felklin, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I'm cooking this anglaise with durian to make ganache with it. And Anil walks in the kitchen and he goes, throw it out. I'm like, but chef, you told me I could do whatever I want and I can like throw it out. I'm like, but why? He goes, because it smells like somebody's died in here.
Yeah.
Throw it out.
Smells like feet. Yeah.
Okay, so I imported this durian from Thailand. I smuggled it through the border, and I've made anglaise with it, and I ended up giving it to our Vietnamese candy packing people to put on their desserts because they thought it was like heaven. But I wasn't allowed to finish the recipe. So I don't know how it would have turned out. It might have been great.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
With milk chocolate, maybe.
Yeah. There's one product actually at the beginning I was not into it. It was the ube truffle. Ube, it's a Filipino dessert, you know, Filipino jam that is used in dessert in the Philippines. And you know, when there's big party in our family, they always bring this ube cake. It's very like gelatin and things. I've never tried it. I don't know. It looks, for me, it just looks weird. You know, I've never tried it because it's purple and it looks weird. And they say it's potato. I don't know. For me, it sounds weird. You know, so I've never tried it. And she said one day she wants to do this product for all those Asians. You know, it's a cake pop, ube cake pop. And it's, you know, it's very purple and everything's with white chocolate. And one day I just try it. I'm like, I'm scared to try it. You know, I'm really scared to try that. I try it. I'm like, oh, that's good, you know? It's actually very good. And with white chocolate, it's, you know, you'll think maybe it's too sweet or it's too weird, you know? But actually, it's very, very good. And it's in our shop, and it's one of the best sellers for the Asian community. And even the white people, you know, like people, you know, that tries it, they actually like it too. You know? So that's the only product that at the beginning I was not into, but once I try it, I actually love it now. And right.
I don't know that I would use it as a marketing technique, though. I don't know that like white people will love it. I know. It's like the right way to go with that marketing technique.
Yeah.
But
the white people will not go to it, but once they try it, I'm pretty sure they will like it. They will love it.
Hey, so we're running out of time.
I mean, you know.
I know what you meant. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
You're good. Hey, we're running out of time, so I want to ask 2 questions. And this question I ask everybody, and that's, you guys are like a mass market American candy bar. What do you pick?
We have one.
No, it doesn't have to be American. You know what? Mass market. How about this? Mass market candy item. Doesn't any country, whatever you want.
We always get the same one.
Me, I like Kinder Bueno.
Yeah, we always get that one.
The what?
Kinder Bueno.
Oh, yeah. They are pretty good.
Kinder Bueno, Kinder Country.
Yeah, my daughter will do anything for a Kinder Bueno. Like, I can get her to clean her room. I can get her to take out the trash. Like, anything.
For me, I always go to Kinder Bueno, Kinder Country, things like that.
Okay. And you know this rule. I'm only rushing because Instagram's going to kick us off because they only get to give us an hour, and we have 4 minutes.
Okay.
But who are some people right now in the States doing some really cool stuff?
In chocolate? Or
well, yeah. I mean, preferably not like like yoga pants, but you know.
Who are we looking at in the States that we think is really cool?
There's a couple actually. There's Chris Harvey. There's Colorado Cocoa Pod. Colorado Cocoa Pod. Chris Harvey.
We worked with her, but we always love Melissa's stuff, of course.
Right.
Cool.
I don't know that much chocolatier in America, to tell you the truth. My go-to when I like to buy when I buy chocolate from someone, it's always Patrick Roger in France.
When we go to
when I go to France, I always buy from him. Last time we went to France, I bought €500 worth of chocolate. €500
just from Patrick Roger. Yeah, we went nuts. It's yeah.
I spend money. Huh? Oh la la. €500.
Well, it's pretty good stuff.
It's very good stuff.
And it's an important part of your story.
Yeah.
I have a good friend that staged from the States that staged with him and kind of did what you did, like kind of showed up and was like, I'm here to work. And he's like, you know, we don't have people stage that don't speak French. And he's like, no, I got it. And like talked his way into Patrick Roger.
Nice.
And worked there for like, I know, like crazy.
Super nice.
That's good.
I know. Crazy is what it is.
That's amazing.
It takes a lot of people from outside, like a Japanese or you know, every country, you know, as internship. So that's nice to work for him.
Right. I mean, it's back to that first part. That's about putting aside your fear and saying, I'm going to go for this because what does it matter, right? Like, it doesn't matter.
What's the worst that's going to happen, you know?
The worst is no, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, boom. You go somewhere else, and that's it.
Well, yeah, unless that's all you want. And then it's a big trust. But anyway, hey, guys, this has been great. Thank you. We should do it again sometime.
Yeah, thank you for having us on.
Thank you very much.
Let's do something with you on your page at some point.
Yeah, we can set that up. after
Awesome.
holidays, if that's cool.
Totally. I get it. Like schedule's full until 2 weeks from now. And then like people are like, how about February 15th?
Yeah.
Would February 15th work? I'm like, sure, I guess so. So, all right. Well, thanks a bunch. You guys are going to have to plug everything. Go to your IG page, and all the links are there in the profile, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Have a great weekend.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Good luck with the wedding in Vegas.